Why Muslim powers could not dominate the world. Unraveling the enigmas of the sudden decline of ancient Muslim empires. It would be prudent to assert that the Islamic realms constituted the most rapidly burgeoning forces in global affairs during the 16th century. Not only were the Ottoman Turks advancing westward with vigor, but the Safavid dynasty in Persia was also experiencing a renaissance of power, prosperity, and refined culture, particularly during the reigns of Ismail I (1500 to 1524) and Abbas I (1587 to 1629). A chain of formidable Muslim khanates still controlled the ancient Silk Road via Kashgar and Turfan to China, similar to the chain of West African Islamic states such as Bornu, Sokoto, and Timbuktu. The Hindu Empire in Java was overthrown by Muslim forces early in the 16th century, and the king of Kabul, Babur, entering India by the conqueror's route from the northwest, established the Mughal Empire in 1526. Despite Christian missions struggling to gain traction, Islamic followers in Africa and the Indies experienced a surge in numbers during the same era, leaving the question: what hindered Islam's potential to dominate the world? Ottoman Turks led the Muslim charge. The Ottoman Turks stood as the paramount Muslim powerhouse that confronted early modern Europe with their formidable legion and the most sophisticated artillery of the era. The dominion of the Ottoman Turks in the 16th century spanned from the Crimea, after conquering Genoese mercantile outposts, and the Aegean, via dismantling the Venetian Empire, to the Levant. By 1516, Ottoman forces had captured Damascus, and in the following year, they entered Egypt, vanquishing the Mamluk forces through astute deployment of Turkish ordnance. They blocked the spice route from the Indies, then navigated up the Nile and pushed through the Red Sea to the Indian Ocean, countering the Portuguese incursions there. The Ottomans dominated Bulgaria and Serbia, wielding paramount influence in Wallachia and the entire Black Sea region. Even Hungary, the stalwart eastern bulwark of Christendom, eventually succumbed to the superior Turkish legions and was overrun following the pivotal Battle of Mohacs in 1526. The same year, coincidentally, as Babur secured a triumphant victory at Panipat, marking the inception of the Mughal Empire. The seemingly impossible occurred. By 1529, the Turks laid siege to Vienna. It was only then that the front line stabilized in northern Hungary and the Holy Roman Empire was preserved, though the Turks continued to pose a perpetual menace, exerting relentless military pressure that could never be fully disregarded, even launching a subsequent siege of Vienna as late as 1683. The Ottoman Turks wielded a formidable maritime potency, which was partially developed to besiege a strategically situated enemy stronghold. In this case, Constantinople, which Sultan Mehmet encircled with imposing galleys and numerous smaller vessels to augment the assault of 1453. Subsequently, mighty galley armadas were deployed in operations across the Black Sea, in the southward thrust towards Syria and Egypt, and in a series of skirmishes with Venice for dominance over the Aegean Islands, Rhodes, Crete, and Cyprus. There were some stalwart obstacles to the Ottoman army's advances, primarily in the early 16th century, courtesy of Venetian, Genoese, and Habsburg flotillas. However, by the mid-century, Islamic naval forces were active along the entire North African coastline, pillaging ports in Italy, Spain, and the Balearics, and ultimately conquering Cyprus in 1571, before being repelled at the Battle of Lepanto. How Muslim conquest spread. For centuries before 1500, the realm of Islam had been intellectually and technologically superior to Europe, boasting grand metropolises that shone bright with illumination and hydraulic systems, and featured esteemed universities and libraries, as well as breathtakingly beautiful mosques. In arithmetic, cartography, medicine, and numerous other aspects of science and industry, including mechanized mills, artillery fabrication, lighthouses, and horse breeding, the Muslims had savored a significant advantage. Like the Manchus of China, the triumphant elite among the Ottomans had established a unity of official faith, culture, and language, surpassing that of the Roman Empire, and governing vast multitudes of subject peoples. In a fascinating display of cultural fusion, the Ottoman Empire's esteemed Janissary core was forged from Christian youth in the Balkans, producing a formidable, uniformed fighting force. Moreover, the empire's tolerant attitude towards diverse races attracted exceptional talents, such as a Hungarian master guncaster who played a crucial role in Mehmet's siege of Constantinople. In its golden era around 1600, Constantinople stood as a behemoth, boasting over 500,000 inhabitants, dwarfing European cities. Under the visionary leadership of Suleiman I, a robust bureaucracy efficiently governed 14 million subjects, eclipsing Spain's 5 million and England's 2.5 million. The fall of Muslim dominance. Like the Ming China dynasty, the Ottoman Turks turned their backs on the world, forfeiting their chance at global supremacy. Despite their administrative prowess in maintaining vast frontiers, Turkish and other Muslim leaders struggled to expand without incurring staggering human and economic costs. But what led to the downfall of these once mighty empires? Corruption, complacency, or catastrophic mistakes? Let us unravel the mysteries together. External factors. A catalyst was that Ottoman imperialism, unlike its later counterparts, Spanish, Dutch, and English, did not usher in substantial economic dividends. Others also attribute the decline to strategic overreach, especially in the latter half of the 16th century. During this period, they maintained a formidable army stationed in Central Europe, an extravagant navy operation in the Mediterranean, troops engaged in North Africa, the Aegean, Cyprus, and the Red Sea, as well as reinforcements needed to hold the Crimea against a rising Russia power. The Battle of Lepanto marked a triumphant milestone for a Christian naval force over a Turkish fleet and the apogee of the age of galley warfare in the Mediterranean. The Battle of Lepanto, October 7, 1571, took place in the waters off southwestern Greece between the allied Christian forces of the Holy League and the Ottoman Turks during an Ottoman campaign to acquire the Venetian island of Cyprus. A pivotal catalyst was the profound Islamic rift, a theological fissure in the Muslim realm that erupted when the Shiite faction, based in Iraq and subsequently in Persia, contested the dominant Sunni doctrines and traditions. This partly sparked the Ottoman-Persian conflicts or struggles, a series of wars between the Ottoman Empire and the Safavid, Afsharid, Zand, and Qajar dynasties of Iran that spanned the 16th to 19th centuries. Divided by sectarian allegiances, the Ottomans being fervent Sunni and the Safavids being Shia, they incessantly clashed for centuries, vying for control over eastern Anatolia, the Caucasus, and Iraq. The Sultan could only maintain his supremacy by quelling the Shiite insurgents with force. In response, the Shiite kingdom of Persia under Abbas the Great was prepared to forge alliances with European states against the Ottomans, much like France had collaborated with the so-called Heathens Turk against the Holy Roman Empire. Internal factors. In the realm of ancient India, a mighty empire rose to power. The Mughal Empire, also known as the Indo-Timurid dynasty, and Mughal Empire, a Muslim dynasty of Turkic-Mongol origin that dominated most of northern India from the early 16th to the mid-18th century. At its zenith, this vast kingdom was a marvel of military prowess, extravagant courts, and masterful craftsmanship, boasting a sophisticated banking and credit network. Yet, beneath the grandeur, a precarious social hierarchy thrived, with a conquering Muslim elite ruling over a vast, impoverished peasantry adhering to Hinduism. But it was the rigid Hindu taboos that crippled modernization. Killing rodents and insects were forbidden, leading to staggering food losses, while archaic sanitation practices spawned breeding grounds for deadly plagues. As the empire struggled to maintain its borders southwards against the Marathas, northwards against Afghans, and then the East India Company, its internal decay ultimately led to its downfall. On the other side, it is said that the entire Ottoman system was crippled by the suffocating grip of centralization, despotism, and rigid orthodoxy, stifling creativity and progress. Without clear directives from above, the bureaucratic machinery atrophied, favoring stagnation over innovation. Other devastating consequences included the halt in territorial expansion after 1550, accompanied by soaring prices, which led to discontent among the Janissaries, who turned to pillaging their own people. Foreign merchants and entrepreneurs, once encouraged, now faced arbitrary taxation and outright confiscation of their assets. Peasants suffered the most, as soldiers ravaged their lands and livestock. Exorbitant dues collected across the empire further strangled trade, leaving towns desolate. The relentless decline of society led to corrupt officials joining the pillage, demanding extortionate tributes and seizing goods. As the Ottoman Empire clashed with Persia, the crippling cost of war and the loss of lucrative Asiatic trade routes sparked a frantic quest for new revenue streams. This desperation handed unfettered power to ruthless tax collectors, who exploited the empire's vulnerability. In response to the Shiite religious challenge, the government's grip on society tightened. The printing press was silenced, fearing the spread of subversive ideas. Innovation was stifled by powerful guilds, who suffocated capitalist entrepreneurs and condemned Western imports as a threat to traditional ways. In a shocking display of defiance, the Turks stubbornly clung to traditional methods, refusing to adopt European innovations that could have saved countless lives from devastating plagues. In 1580, a group of Janissaries ravaged a state observatory, believing it to be the source of a deadly outbreak. The once formidable armed forces had become a bastion of conservatism, exemplified by the Janissaries' reluctance to trade in their outdated cannons for lighter, more effective European guns. Their crushing defeat at Lepanto in 1571 didn't spark change. Instead, they stuck to their ways, unlike the adaptable Barbary corsairs who swiftly adopted the frigate warship. This was not just a result of technical hurdles, but also cultural obstinacy. Conclusion: against a backdrop of turmoil, the Ottoman Empire, Mughal dynasty, and great Muslim empires faced formidable foes. Visionary leaders were essential to sustain grandeur and fuel Muslim expansion. But the 13 sultans that ascended to the Ottoman throne from 1566 and other Muslim leaders who inherited immense power could not turn the tide, leading to the empire's decline over time. Thank you for watching. Please like and share this video. Kindly subscribe for more intriguing videos. Lessons Untold. Relax, review, reflect.